All right. Well, welcome to the Highwire Improv Community Update for April. Um, Actually, quite a good bit amount of stuff to go over this month. So, um, as always, we'll go through core values, some committee updates, finance updates, the numbers around marketing, and kind of overall growth metrics, and then open it up for any Q&A. But always feel free to interject if you have a question about what's on the slide. As always, we like to remind everybody of the core values of transparency, safety, community, and action. These kind of guide all of our committee work, but also kind of day-to-day decision-making that we do within the board, within the volunteers, and hopefully if anything ever comes up at shows or events or whatever we might need. The first and kind of biggest topic, as it has been for a while, is just checking in on COVID-19 and show status. There is really no significant change since March. We've been monitoring all the metrics under the CDC adjusted guidelines, which remains, we have Baltimore City remaining in the low community levels status, although we're also kind of more specifically looking at cases and hospitalizations, the underlying metrics that support that, because they're on a different grading scale than they were. They changed the grading scale. Baltimore City still has the indoor mask mandate removed, and we're going to continue monitoring things, but we currently are planning for both in-person and online shows and workshops beginning in May for season 7. And one thing we're going to do as we go through that process is update our online document that has all like the metrics about the CDC and the cases and stuff like that, but also separate out a specific document that has all of the venue details, including the accessibility details for each venue, but also any COVID protocols that might be relevant, so that performers and audience members kind of know the details of each space that we're going to be doing workshops or shows within. As we've said many times, always subject to change. We'll move things around mid-season if we are required to. As mentioned, we've been tracking the kind of the individual metrics. This is from a few days ago, but the case rate in Baltimore City is 55.9, which is in this fewer than 200 bucket. And then the hospital admissions is under 10, and the percentage of beds under 10. So we're still in a low community range. And looking at like the Maryland-wide case metrics, things have remained in the 300 to 400 range per day on the 7-day average, which is again better than it was when we were doing shows in like July, August, September. So still feeling pretty good about that. As a result, programming spaces for season 7, we've closed the submissions for season 7. Hoping to announce the schedule later this week, towards the end of the week probably. Online side is pretty clear. The in-person stuff has a little bit more moving pieces with people potentially coming from out of town. We've got 50 online submissions, 27 in person, and there's some overlap in that. So there's 54 teams total that submitted. We've got 5 show venues already booked for season 7. And what's really exciting is they have them all over Baltimore at 5 different neighborhoods, which is great. We're looking at maybe 1 or 2 more to round out the list to get at least 1 show during the season for all the in-person teams that submitted. Understanding that probably a few of those will drop off, especially those coming from outside Baltimore. And some of these shows, like the Blue Room, will do potentially more than 1 show during the season. I think Blue Room are doing a May and a July show, for example. And we're also in contact with 2 practice/workshop spaces, hoping to open those up also during season 7. Those would be used for the jams/workshops that we've been doing on Wednesdays. Some of those will continue online, some will happen in person. So we'll have kind of a jam workshop, 2-hour type session for folks. And then any remaining space will be made available for teams who want to do in-person rehearsals. So starting to finally kind of provide that space, which is exciting, and was part of our overall kind of 2022 strategic goals to do. So we're excited about those. One of those is in Roland Park, the other's in Waverly. So again, kind of trying to continue to have space all across the city rather than be centralized in any one neighborhood. On development and marketing, We are now registered on like all the major charity websites, which is good. It makes it easier for people who want to do any Facebook donations. So if you ever see those people who do like I want to raise funds for my birthday, we're on that list now. We're also on a lot of the corporate donation portals. So if people have matching programs at work, we're one of the companies that can be selected, which is great. And then doing some marketing with a game show marathon that Corey Anatado is doing, sponsoring an hour of that. You get our logo out there, as well as continuing our season posters and general merch program overall. We're going to add some more of that stuff to the website in the coming weeks. For the Anti-Racism Committee, earlier this month, we got to present at the Waterfront Tech Series, which was a big community event, brought together like 150 folks in the Baltimore region, specifically focused on diversity, equity, inclusion work. We talked about our approach to including that work from the beginning as a small nonprofit. It was great. We went immediately after Comcast, which is like $100 billion company that's 100 years old. I think our presentation was better. I think there was a better response from the room, so that was exciting. This is the slide we presented. Really, we talked about three major things. One is how we've made it an explicit component of the budget for DEI work. We have a special accounting fund that people can donate to, where their donation is specifically earmarked for anti-racism work. So that's one, a signal to the community that we have that as part of our structure, but also gives people who want to donate the option to specifically donate to that. Second thing, what we talked about was kind of making space for a conversation and not just having programs for the board or for the leadership to get training, but making those programs available to anybody in the community who wanted to. And then the third was, how do we get by with very little money compared to a Comcast? We've done a lot of our programs where or work with Hollaback or Create Access, instead of having all of it be for Highwire and having to bear the entire cost of it. We kind of just served as facilitator and made that available to a bunch of different improv theaters across the country. Everyone brings two people, everyone pays a fraction of the cost, and it works out a little bit better. So that was well received, and I think we're excited about continuing that, obviously. Finances, we'll start to see this kind of be a lot more volatile, especially as the applied improv stuff is coming in. Last month we were talking about thousands of dollars of income and expenses. This month not, and that's just the nature of these kind of lump sum payments we get for the applied improv programs. As typical, income from donations, expenses for software fees, and instructor payments, and those kind of lag. So typical month, kind of up or down a couple $100, and still perfectly healthy with our bank balance. And then finally, as I've said about 30 times now, the growth numbers kind of take the same path. Everything kind of grows slowly. It's up and to the right, but have not had a viral moment where one show just suddenly creates 100,000 YouTube views. That's okay. We're not worried about that. We are kind of trying to make sure we do get like a baseline of views on all of our online programming.
Right.
But hoping that the social side of things will grow, especially as we go to season 7, have some in-person events, get some new people who haven't heard of us before, and then hopefully start to see that snowball to further growth. And that's it. So the usual updates, hopefully that was informative. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Oh, very informative. One question I had is, could it be like a little script that performers can have, where they're like, hey, donate to Highwire after the shows, that we can get like a little blurb or something just as a reminder?
Yeah, like a performer or host script. That's a great call. Absolutely. We can add that to kind of our season 7 intro email for all the teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. Cool.
But other than that, that was it. Great presentation, great information on the CDC stuff. I love to see that you guys track that.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks.
so excited to see what's upcoming for the new season too.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got really good teams submitted. I'm really excited about the venues. Like all the venues are really great. Everybody's really excited about doing in-person stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of teams still really excited about doing online, which is great. I think we're going to start to see, all the online shows are going to be teams that really want to do online, and so the quality will be really great.
Yeah,
So yeah, excited about that.
nice.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thank you so much, Barry.
of course. Thanks as always, and talk soon.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Bye.